Hello everyone. Today we're talking about factoring trinomials using another method called Baum's method. Now, your teacher might teach this method a little differently than how we do it here in our schools. So again, this method might vary depending on the teacher. Hopefully you'll like our style, and if you find it useful, go ahead and use it. So when it comes to Baum's method, when a is equal to 1 in the simple cases of factoring trinomials, it doesn't really matter what method you use. So for this one here, hopefully everyone remembers that to factor these ones here, you simply look for the pairing of numbers in such that the multiplication number is found by taking your a and you multiply it by c. So in this case, a is 1, c is the negative 10. So 1 times negative 10 gives you negative 10. The addition number is basically whatever is connected to the x variable, which in this case is negative 3. So think about two numbers such that when you multiply the two, they give you negative 10, but when you add the two, it gives you negative 3. In this scenario, you should be thinking of negative 5 and positive 2. Now, when a is 1, you can simply put two brackets, both with an x in it. One gets the minus 5 and one gets the plus 2, and then you're done. Now, it doesn't matter what method you use. Because a is 1, this is pretty straightforward, hopefully. Now, when a is not 1, this is when you should be using your special methods. So again, we've showed you decomposition, we've showed you bottoms up, and now we're going to teach you Baum's method. So for this one, same thing. We've looked for the multiplication number first. So all the setups are always the same. So we multiply to get, in this case, negative 18, and we add in this case to get us 3. The two numbers here that we need are going to be 6 and negative 3. Now with Baum's method, the first thing we do is we take a look at our lead coefficient. Our lead coefficient here is a value of 2. So what we end up doing is we're putting in 2x into both brackets. One gets the 6 and one gets the minus 3. And again, those numbers come from the two numbers that we had that satisfied our two equations here. Now, the last step that you need to do is when you take a look at both brackets, you take a look at the first pair and you see, is there a lowest common denominator that you can potentially divide both by? Or in this case, a lowest common factor that they're both divisible by. And we see that 2 and 6, we can divide both by 2. And between 2 and 3, the lowest common factor is just going to be 1. So then you reduce each one, and that will turn into your final answer. So the front bracket will turn into x plus 3 when we divide both by 2, and the back bracket will be 2x minus 3 because there is nothing else to reduce by. So this becomes your final answer. Now with our last question, this one here, we do need to factor out a common factor from all three terms first before we can use any special method. If you don't do this, then you will get errors or you would have an incomplete answer. So once again, 15, negative 27, negative 6, they have 3 in common. So we're going to factor out 3 first, and we get 5x squared minus 9x minus 2. Now, when we do this, we can now use Baum's method onto the inside of the bracket material. So again, two numbers multiply. So in this case, it'll be 5 times negative 2, giving us negative 10. And two numbers add together to give us negative 9. So the two numbers that work here are going to have to be negative 10 and 1. For this one here, you can see for Baum's method, the lead coefficient is 5, because that's what we're trying to factor right now. So we're going to have 5x into both brackets. One gets the minus 10 and one gets the plus 1. And again, those numbers come from our factors over here. We then take a look at each bracket. So the front bracket, we can see that they're both divisible by 5. The other bracket, nothing, so we just put over 1. And lastly here, we're just going to reduce the first bracket. So if we divide both by 5, we get x minus 2. And the other one, we just get 5x plus 1. Reminder to hold the 3 that was in front the whole time for your final answer. Otherwise, you would have missed something and it would have been incorrect. Now, if you didn't like Baum's method, take a look at this video over here about bottoms up, which is my personal favorite method of factoring. Or if you need to learn how to do decomposition, please take a look at this video over here.